If we are one, then what happens in this world is not happening to others. It is happening to us. And in this moment, we are living in a pivotal time of spiritual transition. Things are not just shifting on the surface. They are shifting at the level of frequency, of consciousness, of collective energy. Many of you can already see it with open eyes. There's a real frequency battle underway, not just inside of us, but all around us. In the media, in technologies, in the way we are being watched, nudged, and shaped. That does not mean we panic or invent conspiracy where it does not exist. It means we become honest. There are systems, technologies, and intentions that would rather keep humanity distracted, divided, and powerless so they can maintain the status quo. But if we are one, we need to name it plainly, without sugarcoating, and without fear. We need to talk about what this frequency war actually is, how it shows up in attention, emotion, and perception, and find practical tools to protect your frequency, anchor your sovereignty, and help you rise through this moment instead of being consumed by it. Hi, I'm Daryl T. Johnson, a musician, a teacher, and a QHHT hypnosis practitioner. I'd like to welcome all of you to episode 33 of If We Are One. Hello, and welcome to this episode. Today we're going to talk about what many people are touting as a frequency war, a metaphor for a struggle over the state of human consciousness, where fear, division, and stress are seen as lowering vibrations, while awareness, calm, and love are seen as raising it. In plain language, it describes a contest between energies or influences that keep people reactive and disconnected versus those that help people become more clear, grounded, and spiritually aligned. Now, while the term frequency war is referenced as a metaphor, it also references real, measurable ways electromagnetic and nervous system rhythms can influence physiology and mental states. So both symbolic and literal meanings apply here. The body and brain produce measurable electromagnetic rhythms, brain waves, heart rhythms, and can entrain to external rhythms. An example being extremely low frequency fields like the Schumann resonance, which is the Earth's natural electromagnetic hum, created in the space between the surface and the ionosphere, about 7.83 hertz, that overlap brainwave bands and have been studied for biological effects. So I just want to be clear that this is more than a symbolic reference. This discussion of a frequency battle really is important to understand, because if we are one, then any war of consciousness is a war that involves all of us. So again, this frequency battle is not just symbolic. It is the struggle between the states of being that keep us fragmented, fearful, and controlled, and the states of being that restore coherence, clarity, and sovereignty. In this pivotal time, The battle is playing out in three main places: inside us, in our thoughts, emotions, and patterns of reactivity; around us, in the media, the algorithms that try to force feed us, and the language of fear and division; and through us, in the way technology amplifies certain frequencies and drowns out others. It's a war for attention, not just for souls. This is the most concrete way to understand this frequency battle. Whoever holds your attention, at least for a moment, holds a slice of your energy. Social media, news, and AI-driven content are designed to pull you into loops of outrage, anxiety, and comparison. When attention is fragmented, fear escalates, and discernment is weakened. That is, in spiritual terms, a lower frequency feeding on itself. So this is not about entertaining wild conspiracy theories. It's about asking a simple question. Is this input raising my coherence, or is it feeding my fear? When we speak of darkness or dark energies, it is helpful to see it primarily as patterns, not always as a person or group. Darkness is the energy of control instead of choice, separation instead of connection, domination instead of stewardship. Those patterns can show up in politics, in technology, in religion, in education, in business, and even in spiritual communities. The same pattern can disguise itself in different robes, but the inner signature is the same. It makes you feel small, powerless, and dependent. Now, these feelings are not necessarily new. So why does this moment we're living in now feel so intense? Many of you are sensing that this is a critical, pivotal time. Old systems are cracking, and the stakes feel higher because the pressure is turning up. From a spiritual point of view, this light is not just growing, it is forcing the shadow to reveal itself in ways it could not hide before. That is why dark agenda language feels so real to some people. It is not that every bad thing is a secret plot, but it is true that systems of power resist being exposed. When they feel threatened, they often double down on fear, distraction, and dehumanization. Are these themes sounding at all familiar right now? So as you move through this frequency landscape, it helps to recognize three main dynamics. They are information overload being used as a weapon, constant noise, sensational headlines, and endless stimulation can overload the nervous system. When the mind is overwhelmed, the heart and intuition are easier to manipulate. Emotional manipulation through fear and rage. Certain narratives are engineered to keep you in fight or flight division, blame, and constant crisis. Anger and fear feel powerful, but they are exhausting over time and pull you out of alignment. Technology being used as an amplifier, from 5G-driven connectivity to AI personalized content, technology can amplify both your fear and your clarity. It is neutral in form, but not in use. The question is it being used to serve awakening or to serve control? So, instead of framing this only as a war between good versus evil, it is more empowering to see it as a transformation field. The battle is really the friction between the old conditioning of fear and the emerging possibility of higher coherence. So rather than asking who is trying to control us, try also asking what in me is still held by fear, and how can I gently release it? Now, it is probably appropriate and quite necessary to get a read on where we are right now during this tumultuous time of pivotal change. Here and now, dehumanization and disenfranchisement seem to be running rampant in our world drama. And the pain of disenfranchisement anywhere is a wound in our collective body. In this critical time, many people are feeling a sense of exhaustion, of being watched, measured, categorized, oppressed, marginalized, and manipulated. There's a growing fear that technology, surveillance, and systems of power are moving toward a kind of dehumanizing disenfranchisement, where people feel like data points, not sacred beings. This is not imagination. In America and around the world, people are sensing loss of privacy, erosion of trust in institutions, growing inequality in both material and energetic terms. Spiritually, this is a critical threshold. When dignity is undermined, when people feel unseen or disposable, the collective frequency sags. This is exactly when the tactics of fear, division, and control become easier to deploy. Dehumanization is not just a political or economic problem. It is a spiritual problem. When a person is treated as less than, they begin to feel less than. When a community is divided against itself, compassion is replaced with suspicion. When creativity and intuition are discounted, only the strict, mechanical, and controlling parts of our psyche are left in charge. This is why the dark agenda pattern often pushes toward dehumanization. If people feel small and powerless, they are easier to manage. They are less likely to question, to create, or to remember who they truly are. So the challenge is to see this clearly without becoming numb or cynical, to hold awareness of the pain without letting it harden our heart. This is not about pretending everything is fine. It is about recognizing what is real, what is being inflamed, and what you can choose to respond and what you can choose to release. In this moment, you are being invited to a higher level of discernment, to see the systems of control without losing your connection to source, to others, and to your own inherent worth. In truth, this is also an opportunity for growth, because if we are one, then every crisis is also a collective invitation to grow. The same pressure that feels like a tightening noose can also be felt as necessary contraction before a deeper expansion. What is happening now is not just a test of endurance. It is a test of awakening. The intensity is revealing what is weak, what is false, and what is not truly aligned with your soul. In other words, this is a time when the shadows are being forced into the light, not to destroy you, but to help you see through them. It's the gift of clarity. When systems of control become more visible, something important happens. You can no longer pretend they are not there. Now that is uncomfortable, but it is also liberating. Because clarity is a form of protection. When you can see manipulation, fear-based narratives, and emotional bait for what they truly are, you are less likely to be hijacked by them. The dark is not winning. It is becoming more obvious so that it can be named, seen through, and transcended. So we need to raise our collective frequency. Every person who chooses to stay grounded, speak truth, practice compassion, becomes a node of higher frequency in the collective field. This is not a small thing. When one person chooses coherence over reactivity, the whole field is subtly elevated. So instead of asking, will the darkness succeed? Ask, what is the next step I can take to embody higher awareness in my life? In essence, we need to approach frequency protection as a spiritual practice, because protecting your own frequency is an act of service to the whole. You are not just a passive receiver in this frequency war. You are an active transceiver. You receive energy, you interpret it, and you send it back out through your words, your actions, and your presence. That is why frequency protection is not a mystical fantasy. It is a practical, spiritual discipline of staying aligned, grounded, and sovereign in the midst of the noise. In truth, you are a frequency guardian, a guardian of your own frequency grid, your nervous system, your breath, your thoughts, and your intentions all contribute to the signal you are broadcasting into the world, into the field. When you are centered, clear, present, you naturally emit a higher coherent signal. The signal does two things. It protects you from being easily hijacked, and it quietly uplifts the environment around you, allowing you to stay in the higher vibration zone. The language of high vibration and low vibration is not a New Age cliche if it is used wisely. It is a way of naming the felt difference between contraction and expansion, fear and love, fragmentation and coherence. Your goal is not to become perfect, but to return to alignment more quickly after you are knocked off center. That is how real spiritual maturity shows up, not in never feeling fear, but in knowing how to return to breath, to presence, and to truth. So now, having said all this, let's talk about frequency protection tools, practical ways to stay sovereign. Every time you choose to protect your frequency, you are also protecting the field around you. These fields are not about hiding from the world. They're about changing your inner posture so that the noise outside cannot easily override your inner truth. I have 6 tools to share with you. So if you want to pause and get something to write with, go right ahead. Tool number 1. Guard your attention like your life depends on it. In this frequency battle, attention is your most sacred resource. Practice a simple attention reset. Notice when you are scrolling, clicking, or reacting without intention. Pause. Ask, is this raising my coherence or feeding my fear? If the answer is fear, rage, or numbness, gently move away. Change the channel. Step outside. Close the tab. close the app. Or simply close your eyes and breathe. Over time, this becomes a reflex. You take back the authority of your focus. What I would suggest with this is once a day, do a 5-minute attention audit. What did you give your attention to? How did it leave you feeling? This builds awareness and makes manipulation easier to see in real time. Tool number 2, ground your frequency daily. A high frequency life is not about being spiritual in the air. It's about being embodied on the ground. Each day, give yourself at least one grounding ritual. Place your bare feet on the earth. Feel your breath in your lower belly. Sit or stand quietly and notice your body. As you do this, you can silently affirm, my body is my home. My nervous system is mine to regulate. I choose to be present, not reactive. This is how you anchor in the organic part of your nature. And it becomes much harder for synthetic fear loops to hijack you. Tool number 3. Use breath and sound as frequency shields. You are a frequency transceiver, and simple tools like breath and sound can recalibrate your signal. Use breath anchors during overwhelming moments, like a slow inhale for 4 counts, hold for 2 counts, slow exhale for 6, and repeat for a few rounds. This simple pattern signals your nervous system. We are not in emergency mode anymore. It literally lowers the noise and helps you return to coherence. You can also use sound awareness. Listen to music that feels spacious, not frantic. Hum or tone gently to feel your own vibration. Let your voice become a tuning fork for your inner field. This is using your own voice for frequency resonance. It's a very powerful tool if you use it correctly. Tool number 4. Discern without drowning in the story. Now, what do I mean by this? The dark agenda is real in its patterns, but you do not need to obsess over every detail. Instead of absorbing every narrative, practice what might be called discernment spacing. Notice a headline or a story. Pause and ask, does this help me grow or just keep me in fear? Can I act from this information or is this just noise? If it does not help you grow or act, you can choose to release it from your inner field. You can still care about the world without carrying every story in your nervous system. Think of it this way. You are not a dump truck for the news. You are a gardener of your inner space. Ponder that one for a bit. Tool number 5. Speak and create from your highest frequency. Your voice and your creativity are high frequency tools. When you speak truth without malice. Share your stories with compassion. Create art that reflects your inner light. You are sending a signal into the collective field. That signal may feel small, but it matters. In that frequency term, it is like a clear note in a chorus of noise. As a practice, you can each week do one small act of frequency contribution, a short message, a piece of art, a sincere conversation, anything that expresses your authentic self rather than your reaction to fear. And finally, tool number 6. Find affirmations of sovereignty. You can read them aloud. Here's one that you can use, and I have it available in the narrative section of this episode. I am spiritually sovereign. My frequency is my own. I choose clarity over fear, discernment over reaction, service over contraction. I do not consent to any frequency manipulation and am not a victim of this frequency war. I am a conscious participant in spiritual upliftment, raising my signal and helping to anchor a higher possibility for all of us. So on a final note, we are living in this pivotal time for a reason. The pressure is rising, but so is the potential. The last desperate attempts to maintain the status quo will ultimately fail, not because they are weak, but because more people are waking up and choosing to engage differently. You do not need to fear the dark. You only need to refuse to let it run your life. So keep your awareness sharp, your heart open, and your frequency steady. Hold the light, because if we are one, then your choice to stay grounded, clear, and loving is not a small thing. It is a quiet act of rebellion against the patterns, the old patterns of control. And that in itself is a victory we all can celebrate. We'll be talking more about these and other topics in future installments. And if there is anything that you would like for me to discuss, or any questions you may have about anything that I have shared, please feel free to mention it by leaving a question or a comment in the comments section. As always, if you have found any of this information at all helpful or enlightening, please like, subscribe, and share with others. I truly appreciate those of you who are continuing to let others know about this podcast, and I continue to be excited at the growing number of souls awakening worldwide to this ongoing movement of remembrance to a oneness consciousness. So to all of you, as always, I send you my love. And if we are one, let's all live in peace, love, and joy.